Welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel once again today, guys. And of course, we are going to be addressing the complete fallout from Barca's Champions League disaster, dropping out of the competition for a second successive season and landing ourselves in the Europa. We have to talk about it. And especially today, we are going to be talking about ownership, about realising who and what is at fault. And I've asked you guys, was it the players? Was it Chavi who was at fault there for our Champions League elimination? Was it to do with bad luck? Was it about bad refereeing? Or was it simply down to injuries? And I'm actually going to be going through each and every one of those very points in some detail. We're going to be going bit by bit, piece by piece, and we're going to be putting the jigsaw together to try to understand how's this happened again? How have we allowed ourselves to drop out of the Champions League again? This video is going to be a journey, so strap yourselves in, get yourselves ready, and let's get into it. Because can I, first of all, kick off with injuries? Because I just want to say, guys, there is absolutely no getting away from the fact that the international break at the end of September, that went such a long way to destroying everything we'd been building towards. There is no getting around that. I am angry with the team, and I am angry with Chavi, and we're going to be coming on to all of that. But you also cannot deny that was a horror break for us. We had Araujo out for the rest of the year. We had Koundé there suffering a serious problem. Memphis got injured in the break. Frenkie de Jong, Hector Bellerin, all injured within the space of a few days. And also, of course, after that, we had Roberto, who was already injured in that time. We had later on Andreas Christensen, as our defence was absolutely decimated. And it wasn't even necessarily about the sheer quantity of those injuries or exactly who it was that was ruled out, but it was the timing, because ahead of what is here and what has been the most heavily congested month of fixtures football's ever seen. I mean, literally ever seen. This is a unique season. It's been a race here to get everything done before the World Cup and to be ravaged by injuries just days before we went into October that absolutely destroyed us before we even started. But okay, with injuries put to one side, what then about bad luck? Because we often hear that in football, it's about bad luck, on another day it could have happened, on another day we could have gone through and all this kind of stuff. And of course, out of all of the Champions League groups this season, Barca were placed in the toughest group of all. I mean, of course we were. But at the same time, guys, and we're saying that there, Inter could have thought the same. Inter were in the same group. They were landed there with Barca and Bayern in pot 1 and pot 2, but Inter still managed to go through. So I don't think we can say, we're hard done by because we had a different group, because it wasn't easy for us. That, for me, is not an excuse. And then we go on to bad refereeing, because we've spoken a lot about that Inter game away from home. At San Siro, it felt like a really pivotal moment in the group. We had a goal disallowed, of course. We had a penalty that wasn't given. And I still stand by the fact that on that day, it was a robbery. We have every right to feel aggrieved because the refereeing was shambolic. But again, I don't think it's an excuse. I don't think we can use that one game there as an excuse of what we've seen in this entire group stage. Because even in that game, guys, away at Inter, we were so dependent on the referees because we were woeful. It was a dreadful performance from Barcelona. And even then, with all of that said and done, Inter away done, Bayern away done, we still had the golden opportunity to take it into our own hands. We still had the Inter game at home, which if we'd have won, it's back in our own hands. We had control of our destiny, and all we had to do was beat Inter at the Camp Nou, and we failed to do that too. So I don't think personally here, guys, that there's anything that Chavi and the Barcelona players can hide behind. Yes, we've had misfortune, we've had injuries, there's been bad luck, there's been bad refereeing, but I don't think any of those things can explain failing to win in our last 4 group games in a row. You can't excuse that. And we shouldn't excuse that, because if you hide behind excuses, you won't learn. Because here's the thing, guys. Even looking at last night's performance against Bayern there at the Camp Nou, and I know there wasn't anything on the line, and by the way, that's not an excuse either, but I just think you look at that lifeless performance from Barca, the way that Bayern just played with us, played through our defence with absolute ease. It was shocking. It really was a poor performance. But when you're looking at the stats, that's not even the worst part there. It's not just about the fact that we've conceded 3 more goals, but what bothers me the most right now is that stat right there. No shots on target from this Barcelona team. You look at the lineup last night and the players that Chavi has at his disposal: Robert Lewandowski, Ousmane Dembele, you've got Pedri, you've got Frenkie de Jong. You just look on the bench, you've got Ansu Fati, Rafinha, Ferran Torres, all waiting to come on. And with the players that we have, if you can't get a shot on target with those players, you've got a problem. You have a serious problem you must do in your setup. And that's what I mean here, about underperforming, about the fact that we have players, we have quality, but it feels like we're not doing enough. And Barcelona, it has been very widely publicised that we spent big money in the summer there, 153 million euros, and that in itself, guys, that brings pressure. Chavi even admitted it back in the summer that when you spend that money, we expect to win. And not in the future, not in a few seasons. With that level of spending, you win now. You have to. The pressure is on to do that. And the first question that I would ask there when it comes to those signings is, what on earth was the plan with Rafinha? Why did we spend a significant amount of that transfer budget on Rafinha? Because Chavi has made it crystal clear this season, and during his entire time as coach here, in fact, that Dembele is the undisputed right winger for him. He is his man, and he will not look anywhere else. Dembele is his priority. Now, Rafinha can't play on the left, so it's either Dembele or Rafinha. And right now we're at the point where Rafinha, he's barely even playing at all. So what was the plan? And it almost feels to me, looking at our summer spending, looking at the way that our defence looks right now, it's almost like when you're on Football Manager and you go into the summer with a huge transfer budget and you're thinking, okay, I can go out, I can buy this striker, I can buy so many attacking players, we're going to be incredible. And then it comes to the start of the season, your budget's gone, and you think, oh, I kind of forgot about defence. Oh, I need some defenders. What am I going to do? Because to start the season with Roberto and Hector Bellerin as our only natural right-backs, that is a joke. That is an absolute joke, guys. And obviously you could say, oh, well, Koundé could play there. But are we going to do that again? Are we going to pay 50 million plus euros there for a player to come in and play him away from his best position, just shift him out to the right-hand side because we had no better plan? And this is the problem here, because Chavi decided himself that Dest wasn't good enough. He wasn't a player that he wanted to put any trust in, and Chavi wanted him out. And that's fine. That's Chavi's prerogative there. As the coach, he has the power to do that. But once you do that, you've got to have faith in what you have. You've got to have faith in the players who are going to come into that position. And did he genuinely believe that Bellerin and Roberto were good enough there to be the right backs at Barca? And these are the key decisions that you've got to get right. It's the same with Marcos Alonso. That was Xavi's personal request in the summer to sign him. Now, we were all looking at it all summer long saying, why? Why are we doing this? What is the appeal there of Alonso? What's he going to bring to this team? But Xavi insisted upon it. We brought him in. We made the effort to get him. Has it worked out? No. So far, it simply hasn't done. And it's just like with Busquets as well. Sticking with him over and over again. It's like Chavi can't quite let go. He can't quite make that next step away from Busquets. And he keeps starting him in big games over and over and over again. And just like yesterday, he takes Busquets off. After an hour, he thinks, okay, that hasn't worked. It hasn't been working. And when is it going to be the time where you sit up, you take notice, and finally you learn? And I do think right here, guys, that in the Champions League with Chavi, there are going to be questions. There is going to be a certain amount of pressure, because I look at that personal record there that he has in this competition as the Barcelona coach, and it's not good enough. 7 games that we've played, 1 win. That 1 win coming against Victoria Pilsen at home, that is not acceptable. And the problem for me is not just about here the fact that we've lost games, that we've conceded a big amount of goals there against Inter, against Bayern, against teams like that there, but we have failed to score, just scoring in 5 out of those 7 games. In the Champions League, we can't accept that, guys. That is simply not what Barca is about. And I think it's not unfair right now to say Xavi is an inexperienced coach. In this competition, at this level, he, as of right now, he doesn't have the experience. The coaches that he's coming up against, the teams that we are playing, we are getting outthought at times. Tactically, we are not at the level that we need to be because one mistake, one bad lineup, one lapse in concentration there from player, from coach, in the Champions League, you get hurt for it. You will get found out very quickly. But look, it's not a crime here to be inexperienced. It's not something there that can't be fixed when it comes to Chavi. With time, with more experience to draw from in this competition at this level, you would hope that he would learn. But that's the question. Because you would struggle to find a Barcelona fan that deep down doesn't want Chavi to succeed here. We loved him as a player. We want to get behind him. We want to give him the keys, give him the faith as a coach. But I think we've got to see now that Xavi can learn, because it's fine to be inexperienced. It's fine to be a little bit naive, to come into this job here and still have things that you need to work out. But we need to see now from him. Now is the time to show, okay, I am open to learning. He doesn't know everything. You can't be stubborn in this game. You've got to be open to evolving. You've got to be open to moving forward now, moving past what we've been stuck with at this club, the rotting core that we've been trying so desperately to move on from. Because I look around right now at these Barcelona players, and I look at the ones that stayed behind after the game yesterday. The crowd were incredible there, giving them support after the final whistle, even though we're out of the Champions League, even though we're in the Europa, and they still stayed there to show the players that we're still with you. We are still behind you. And I look at lots of those players and they want this too. They want to win. I believe that they care and that they are committed to this team and the project and all the rest of it. And we've got good players. We have a core of exciting, young, talented players. But we have to get the best out of them. And it's Xavi's job now, in my opinion, to step up, to learn quickly. You have to do that in this game, and to achieve the potential of this team. Because it's no good talking about talent. It's no good talking about improvement and growth and development, over and over and over again. Because there comes a point when you're going to have to deliver. The time now is approaching for Xavi to prove his worth, for these players too, to stand up, because I think I speak for all of us Barcelona fans when I say we really can't take much more. And so indeed, guys, that right there is the full breakdown right now of not only what we've been through, not only there of what took us to where we are, but what we're feeling right now. And that is what I want to know from you guys is, it's the day after, we're knocked out of the Champions League, we're back in the Europa, the dust is beginning to settle. And where does the fault lie? Who do you want to see here improving? Who do you want to see stepping up to the plate, accepting ownership, accepting responsibility, and ultimately taking it upon themselves to lead this club forward? Please do let me know all of your thoughts, your analysis, and your feelings down below as we continue to try and move through this. Thank you indeed, though, for your support. I can always count on that. You guys, you're the match winners. You are as consistent as they come, and I really do appreciate that, because I'll be back soon with more videos, of course, and I thank you as always for tuning in. But for now, it's time to say, as always, and forever, Visca El Barça.